What's going on, Chase? Like, what's wrong?
Dude, I fucking don't know. I woke up today and I can't fucking do anything right. Can you guys even hear me? Like, does it sound alright?
No, dude, I can't hear you at all.
So you answered my question, but you can't hear me?
No, dude, I just can't hear you.
You're a funny guy. Alright, well, mic's not working, but as long as you guys can hear me out of here, that's fine. So we'll take it. I got a better angle on me now with this little spotlight, so I don't look as thick.
No, you still look pretty thick.
Dude, I've lost like
The
7
lighting
pounds
is
from not
everything.
drinking. From not drinking, it's been great. I've lost like 7
No
pounds.
shit, dude.
Look at me. Look at the
From
jawline. It's
only
going
not
back.
drinking?
No, I've also been like somewhat exercising. So, yeah.
I haven't
Yeah,
been
well,
drinking, and I feel great.
I've been,
Yeah.
just moderately drinking.
I mean,
Every
you
now
know,
and
Great
then.
for a send.
you don't realize how much you drink until you stop, And then, like, once you do, like, kind of this little cleanse, it's like, holy fuck, I was kind of like a big.
I really don't think I drink that much in general though. Like for me it's literally like a once a week thing. If that. If I'm not going
Yeah,
out with
no.
friends or going to dinner or something, then I didn't have any alcohol to drink that entire week. Like the only thing I've had to drink this week was last night. I drank like 3-4 beers during the fights last night, and that was pretty much it. Like I haven't had anything else outside of that.
Dude, I didn't even get a chance to watch, or I don't have no idea what happened, but it sounds like our boy kind of got cheated. Like, was it close, or what do you think?
Nah.
Do you
I
think
mean, I think it was a close fight, and I think someone won 3 rounds to 2.
Yeah.
But I had it scored for Dricus. I still don't know which one of the two ways of saying his name is correct, but I had it 3-2 for him. But it really could have gone 3-2 for either way. It really came down to one round specifically. Like from when we were all watching it, it seemed like everyone was in agreement on that. I wouldn't say he was robbed though, and I mean I know Cole scored it the other way too, but I mean we were talking about it last night. Like I don't think you could necessarily say it was a robbery. So I was wrong. I thought Sean was going to come out like super angry. I thought he was going to be so much more aggressive, like push the pace, and it just didn't end up happening. So I mean it kind of just got away from him.
I just think that the UFC needs to change their judging criteria because
Yeah.
if you look at the fight in general, like not going off a round by round basis, Sean Strickland won that fight by a lot. I mean, he nearly doubled
yeah.
Dricus in strikes, and the only damage Sean had was that cut on his eye right there.
Yeah.
And that cut, it hit some scar tissue, so that's why it was bleeding a lot.
Mhm.
But if you look at Dricus's face, Dricus looked beat to a pulp, dude. He could barely open one eye. His other eye was starting to swell shut. His cheeks were all swollen. Dude, the jab was there all day long for Sean.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I had it 3-2 Sean. I thought he won rounds 1, 2, and 5. But
Yeah,
I mean,
that's I agree with you in that they need to change the scoring because I had it 3-2, but I had it 3-2 based on what their criteria is, and like and me figuring that they were going to take into account takedowns. And where I think they need to change is if you land a takedown on somebody, but then don't do anything,
gotta have control.
But you not even just that. I think I mean
You
if
gotta
you
land
hug
some
someone,
punches.
yeah, you got to do something because if you could in theory have 5 minutes of control time and have landed 3 punches, like that's
Exactly.
it's not representative of how the round went. And so I actually we only watched like half of the second round because the stream that we were using like kind of got fucked up in that round. But I did see that he like
Are you
landed
openly admitting that you didn't buy the fight?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Russian link, brother. We have Russian
The
link.
Russian link,
Streamies.
brother.
You guys use streamies.
Russian link. We not use.
Send me location. Send me location.
I'm at my boy Cody's house right now. At Zach and Cody's house, their crib.
Cody, have we
Shout
had?
out to
I
Zach
think
and
we.
Cody.
I don't think we've met Cody.
No, Cody
Or
hasn't
I've
been
met
on.
Cody.
Yeah, no,
Oh, we gotta
Cody
get
hasn't
Cody
been
Neither
on.
is
But
Zach.
Cody's somewhere downstairs. Maybe I could get him on at some point.
They're out.
He was just sleepy as hell.
They're at the Tipton or some shit. What, isn't that what they call it?
The what?
The Tipton
The
Hotel.
Sweet Life of
Yeah, it's
Zach and
Sweet Life of
Cody?
Zach and Cody.
No?
Oh, that totally went over my head.
Are they brothers too? Like,
That
are
used
they
to be the greatest show.
Mr. Mosby, come
no running in my lobby? Oh, damn. All right, boys. So let's dive into what we got planned today. All right, we got a
Well, dude, I know we talked about it a little bit, but one thing from one of the other episodes that we said we'd touch on a little bit more was like the blue blood topic. And I feel like now's a good time to talk about it because
Absolutely.
I don't know, dude. Okay, this is what we were talking about was if a blue blood can lose their blue blood status. And if so, like at what criteria does it take to lose your blue blood status? And I don't know, like I feel like internally I think about this all the time, but I never hear anybody talking about it. Like I never hear the like Pat McAfee's of the world and the Joel Klatts of the world, like Kirk
Whoa.
Herbstreit's of the world talking about like, oh, can you lose your blue blood status?
I could start.
So I don't know. Like, what do you guys think?
I think we should just have this as like an open discussion, you know, because I think there's so many different things that could go into it. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. That like it's people kind of just accept blue blood status and don't question it,
and they're just a blue blood like forever.
Yeah,
but really,
like
are they?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it very briefly last week, but I think you.
How do you even become a blue blood?
Yeah, I mean, just winning. I mean, I guess just winning and winning national championships at some point in time. But what happens if it was like 80 years ago or whatever? You know, like you're not I don't know, like you're a blue blood, I guess. Like everyone recognizes you as a blue blood because you're a big school with a lot of history. But I think you should be able to lose it, like in short, and we can kind of dive into it. So,
well,
I don't know. What do you think, Chase?
I can give one example of losing a blue blood is I think USC. And the reason I say that is their last national championship was 20 years ago, right? What have they done in the past 20 years? They've had 5-star, 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 expectations out the roof, national title expectations, and I think they've won 1 or 2 Rose Bowls in those 20 years, right?
I have another team that I'm thinking of that hasn't won in even longer.
Who's that? Is that Nebraska?
Yeah, dude. Nebraska hasn't been a powerhouse, like a consistent powerhouse since the 90s.
It's like the 90s, 80s, bro.
Yeah, like the mid 90s. I think they won a natty in like 95 or 97, somewhere around there. Like, yeah, I'm looking at their records. They went 13-0 in 97, 13-0 in 94, 12-0 in 95. And then you fast forward to this century. They had a couple 10-win seasons, you know, during the years of Nadamic and Sue. Went 10-4, 10-4, 9-4, 10-4. But
did they win any Big Ten titles?
But outside of that, if you're looking at the state of Nebraska, I'm looking at like their year by year records. They haven't won a bowl game since 2015, and it was the Foster Farms Bowl. They haven't been in a New Year's Six since 2006. So, I mean, everyone kind of recognizes Nebraska as a blue blood, obviously, but I think
what they did in the
more
90s.
people recognize them. I think more people recognize them in the modern day as a joke. Like, am I wrong?
No, you're totally right.
I mean, here's like.
What are your thoughts, Cole?
I mean, I feel like being a blue blood it's a combination of a lot of things. Like, I feel like if it was just based off of national championships, you'd have like very few. You'd have like 4 or 5 blue bloods. But I think you have to also take into account like just consistently having double-digit winning seasons. You know, consistently winning conference championships, consistently winning bowl games, because obviously only one team can win a national championship every year. Multiple teams can win a conference championship. Multiple teams can go, you know, have a 10, 11, 12 win season. Multiple teams can win a bowl game. So I think it's a combination of all those things. Because Chase, you mentioned like, oh, USC hasn't won a national championship in 20 years. Oklahoma hasn't won a national championship in 23 years.
Yeah, but
But
you guys
I
are at
wouldn't
least
go as far as to say like that's what I'm
you,
saying.
you
There's
guys
other
are
things to take into
yeah,
consideration.
and I don't
The
think
thing
that
with
the
Oklahoma has
USC is
Oklahoma,
only
like
had
that.
one. Yeah, like Oklahoma has consistently won 10 games outside
Hmm.
of 2 years ago. They've consistently won Big 12 titles. Before that, they were winning, Big 8 titles, and before that, Southwest titles. Um,
Let me pull this up.
consistently winning bowl games, consistently having All Americans, multiple Heisman Trophy winners. Whereas teams like, I mean, I would even go so far to say Texas, because outside of their national championship in '05, what exactly have they done up until this year?
off the top of my head, um,
Nothing.
Texas won the Fiesta Bowl, I believe, in 2008.
They won the Sugar Bowl against Georgia.
They made the Natty in 2009. They won the Sugar Bowl when Ellinger was there in 2018, or yeah, I think it was 18. And then this year, um, go to the playoff. Don't win a New Year's Six or CFP game, but yeah, they haven't necessarily been doing what Oklahoma has been doing. Like the way I see Oklahoma and why Oklahoma doesn't fall into that category of like the Nebraskas, and maybe you could, and I know Chase mentioned USC, you could maybe throw in Texas just because they had a pretty shitty last decade, was because what you were saying, Cole, like they at least were consistently winning 10 games, consistently winning the Big 12. I think they've doubled up everyone else in Big 12 championships. I mean, not
More
all,
than doubled up. They
more
have
than doubled
14.
up.
The
Yeah.
next closest has 4.
Okay. Yeah. So they've tripled everyone else. Quadrupled everyone else outside of like the top 2 or 3 that have won, the most Big 12 titles. So I think that's what's probably retained OU's blue blood status. I think Texas could probably still be considered a blue blood just because they've had a couple years here and
Yeah.
there in this century overall. I mean, they won a national championship this century, so you
They've
can't
done
really.
just enough.
They've done just enough to keep it. But when I compare someone like Nebraska to maybe Clemson, who has been very successful in their last decade, like why should Nebraska be more of a blue blood than them right now? Like that's just
Well, and
something to
that's where
think
it gets
about.
tricky, is because over the course of history, Nebraska has had a far richer tradition than Clemson.
Absolutely.
Where it gets tricky is again, like, how do you define a blue blood, and how would you define like taking away that their status of a blue blood? Where it gets to me is like, I feel like if this generation of individuals, like if you were born in '95, you've seen Nebraska win one national championship, but outside of that, do absolutely nothing. So our generation, and I mean, if you were born in '95, like you weren't old enough to remember or watch their national championship, season in '97. This generation has no idea that Nebraska used to be like dominant. So we're growing up with an entire generation that believes one thing, and that one thing for sure is that Nebraska is a laughing stock of college football. Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah. No, you're not.
Well,
I think
So I
right.
feel like
maybe it should
if you
be.
go 20, 30 years without doing jack shit, well, you know what? Over, for 30 years you were really good, but for another 30 years you were absolute dog shit. That's like 50, 60%, being good. Is that what we want to call a blue blood? That you're good like 50, 60% of the time?
I think it should be. This is just my opinion. I think it should be. I know last time I said 5 to 10 years. I've like done a lot of rethinking on that. Obviously, I think that's too short of a timeline. But I think 20 to 25 years, like from the present, going back 20 to 25 years, is what you should look at for blue blood status. Because again, I look at a school like Clemson, and I pulled their record. This year they went 9-4. That was the first time they didn't reach 10 wins since 2010. They reached 10 wins every single season between 2010 to 2023. Like that to me screams blue blood more than Nebraska's 1 10-win season a couple years ago, like in 2009 or whenever, and then just a decade of mediocrity. Like I don't know. That's just me though. Cody, you want to give a take on this?
Now what?
We're talking about whether or not you could lose your blue blood status, like college football programs.
Mm.
Should they be able to lose their blue blood status? I don't know. What's your take?
I don't know.
Cody's girlfriend goes to Texas, so he'd probably say no.
Well, here, I know we've been talking about Nebraska, but how I mentioned USC. I mean, they haven't won a championship since 2003, right? But then if you go back even the last 10 years, USC is hovering right above 500 since then. I don't know if you guys know that.
like that's not.
They had a year where they went 5-7, 8-5, 4-8, and then this year again 8-5. That's 5 of the past 6 years. I don't know how you're still a blue blood when you're living in the past with Pete Carroll. Like you're still saying we're this dominant football team. We're the West Coast premier team. Like, yeah, it's not hard to be better than UCLA at football. Like, I understand that. But you're not a blue blood school. You haven't done shit since your fucking early 2000s. I mean, you have one Rose Bowl win since then. That's great. That was also a fucking fraud year with Clay Helton as coach. Like, I just don't understand why everybody still considers USC this blue blood. Maybe it's a little bit of bias, but you've lost to UCLA 6 of the past 10 years, right? Your rival that you've owned for so long. Motherfucker, you guys had Caleb Williams and Ethan Garbers, and you lost. You lost, and yet you're still this premier football team. You have 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. You have the greatest coach in college football, apparently, in quotes, and you're still 8-5. You have the best player. You have the reigning Heisman, 8-5. You're shit. You're not a blue blood. You're shit. Like it's just like interesting to hear people, because I got a lot of USC friends, to hear, oh, we have Lincoln Riley, oh, we have Caleb Williams. You guys have the same record as the fucking team down in Westwood who doesn't have shit, right? So, if you want to talk about, a blue blood, I think the only true blue bloods of this past 10 years have been Clemson, Georgia, Bama.
You can't claim Clemson as a blue blood though, because they've only been.
Didn't they win 3 national titles in the past 10 years? Haven't they been to 5?
That's fine. Hold on. That's fine, and they've definitely been dominant over the last decade. But college football has been played since before 1900.
I don't.
So you're telling me
before the
that
fucking
10 years out of 120 considers you a blue blood? No, dude.
You just talked about how the past 20 to 30 years, right?
For being able to possibly lose your status.
So then,
but in order to gain blue blood status,
that was my question. What do you consider that?
Dude, I feel like you have to consistently be, one of the premier schools for 20, 30, 40 years. Clemson has been a premier program for 11, 12.
That's fair.
In retrospect, in the scope of time in general, Clemson has only been good for a very minuscule amount of time. Whereas Alabama has won national championships in multiple decades. Oklahoma has won national championships in multiple decades. Florida State has won national championships in multiple decades. Texas has won national championships in multiple decades. They've won conference championships in multiple decades. All of these things, they've consistently had, top 10, top 15, top 25 seasons. Whereas Clemson was no one knew who Clemson was before Dabo Swinney.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. I think mine was more thinking. Go ahead.
We like to shit on we like to shit on USC a lot, and don't get me wrong, I hate USC so much. I hate Lincoln Riley. I hate freaking Steve Carroll. I hate all of them, Carroll. Bro. Matt Leinart. Pete Carroll. Dude, why did I just say Steve Carroll?
You're probably thinking Sarkisian.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. That
No, I
guy's
was
great.
thinking
I
of
don't know.
Steve Carell. Yeah, I was thinking of Steve Carell, dude.
That's funny.
But what's it called? Like USC, we forget they made 3 straight national championships and won 2 of them from
Yeah.
'03 to '05. That
I
wasn't
think,
that. I mean, that was
20
20,
years ago.
19 years ago.
Yeah.
they're on the precipice though of like that timeline that I'm talking about. Like I think it should be 20 to 25 years from today, like going back from today, and they're almost there. Like they are almost about to hit like 20 years, or has it already been 20 years? No,
It's been
almost
20 years since
Since
they
the
won a
last
national
time they
title.
made a national champion. Yeah, but they made, and then you also have to take into consideration Reggie Bush. Like, what if they didn't lose scholarships? What if they didn't lose bowl eligibility over
But that's
something that
also-
like
Yeah, but that's
that
also
everyone
a huge,
is going through right now?
But that's a
Yeah,
huge
that's
what
the-
if.
yeah.
I just think it should be obviously it's going to be subjective because people are going to count conference championships more than something else, or they're going to value 10-win seasons maybe more than other people. But I just think it should be like based on like the last 20, 25 years. If you haven't done jack shit, why should I look at you any differently than Clemson? Why should I look at you as more than Clemson? Like even your brand. So I know we want to get more of just like our raw thoughts on this, and I don't want to even hold back, so I'm just gonna say it, dude. Like I think Nebraska's trash, and I think Nebraska has been trash for a long fucking time, dude. So yeah, I they're a blue blood, sure, whatever, but in my eyes, like I'm not gonna look at them as more than some of these other programs that have actually been hitting 10-win seasons or winning conference chips. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
USC,
we're 20
you're somewhere in there as well. You're maybe not as bad as Nebraska and Texas as well. But if another couple years go by and you haven't done fucking shit, I'm coming after you next, and I'm taking your blue blood status away. I will do it. And that's all there is to
Butch
say.
Cornbread.
I mean, like
Said it
we're 25, 26, like almost 27 years old. Like we're pushing 30. So to be like pushing 30 and all we know throughout our lifetime is that Nebraska is just a laughing stock. Like I can't look at him and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a blue blood," because I'm speaking off of just stuff that I have no knowledge about. Like I didn't watch them play in the 60s, 70s and 80s.
Did it
Yeah.
even happen if you didn't see it? Like
That's what I'm saying. Like
I wasn't a fuck. I didn't see that shit happen. Did it even happen?
maybe for our parents' generation, it's like, oh yeah, like Nebraska used to be this dominant program. What I think is funny is even when they were dominant, every time they played Oklahoma still mopped them, bro.
I'm gonna say yeah, okay. And obviously we are not a blue blood. TCU is not even close to anything like that. We're a small like program. Like
But they
won
are a
some
better
natties.
program
Hold on,
than
hold on.
Nebraska over the last 20 years.
That's where I was heading. So like sure, our last national championship was like in the 30s, like long time ago, right? In the 21st century, we have more 10-win seasons, more New Year's 6 wins, more CFP appearances. I mean, I can go on like of all these like metrics that we're talking about. In the 21st century, we have been a much better program than Nebraska, and I want all that fucking smoke from them. So yeah, I'm just giving TCU a shout there, obviously. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know what the
I
fuck's
think
going on with
maybe
the
you can
Cowboys.
also.
It's
I
just-
think maybe you could also. You can even look at this like what blue bloods are by like this. I don't know, just the states of programs. Like I think Georgia is probably a bet. Like I don't think they're classified as a blue blood, but they probably have more of a right to than some of these other programs. Like Georgia in the last 10 years, like they've been up there. Like they've only ascended up to that recently in recent years, but I mean,
feel like
they've
they
got more
become-
national championships than these blue bloods, like in this
Mhm.
century. So
Yeah, that's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
like what I was
welcome back,
saying.
Mr. Boer.
That's kind of what I was saying about Clemson, and then Cole kind of was getting all fired up about it, saying, well, how are they blue blood if they've only been good for 10, 12 years? And I was like, okay, so your fulfillment of meeting blue blood status is being dominant over the period of college football. But I was like, but your
Yeah.
fulfillment of losing it is 30 years. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a
Looks like
really
he's
hard subject, but oh god, Cole's having technical difficulties. Cole, we can see your face.
Welcome back, Mr. Biller. Um, Georgia and Clemson, like those are two programs off the top of my head that have emerged in the last decade. And they have found more success this century and in these last 20, 25 years. So that being said, like Nebraska, like I'm sorry, but you're fucking garbage. Like you're trash. Like there are tiny programs like TCU that have achieved more than you. And yeah, I mean that's all there is to say about it. Like, sure, maybe your grandparents got to see a bunch of Nebraska natties, and I'm probably not gonna witness whatever they got to witness. You know, like I understand that TCU's not gonna be winning a fuck ton of natties anytime soon, but I've seen more than you have right now. So eat my ass.
Jesus.
I think you're.
I could
you're
even say the
comparing-
same for Texas in the last 10 years. Like, my God, dude. But
So,
whatever. We've
I
talked
think
plenty about the
you're-
Longhorns this year.
Your Cowboys comparison is relevant because it's like two fan bases living in the glory days of the '90s. You know, it's like
It
we're
begs the
America's
question:
team.
Can your
Yeah,
that was my next question. It begs the question: Can your status as America's team be taken away?
it should be. It should be.
It's the same thing.
Dude, they haven't fucking like even gone to an NFC championship in this. I don't even know if in this fucking decade. So I don't know. It's another
Yeah.
thing.
It's also interesting because in basketball, like the Blue Bloods are different, obviously.
Well, that was what I was going to
maybe
bring
that's a
up. My
question
Very
for
point
basketball
is,
too.
that's what I was going to bring up is UCLA hasn't won a national title since like '98. They've been to 3 Final Fours since then, but like, are we living in the glory days of John Wooden and the '70s and the '80s? Like, I don't know.
Hold up. I don't care what happens over the course of the next 30 years. UCLA basketball might be the one exempt school because those motherfuckers won 10 natties over the course of like 11, 12 years. We will never see that again. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, if you've done something like that, then sure, I'll give it to you. Michigan, how many natties does Michigan have in football? Is it like 4 or 5 now?
Let's look it up.
Jamie, you want to look that up for me real quick?
Yeah, I got you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, give me 1 second, guys. Yeah.
Have you seen
actually how Jamie-
the video of? Have you seen
sure.
the video of Sean Strickland saying that
about
he thinks
Jamie.
that Jamie is being abused?
Dude,
Who's Jamie?
I see what he means though, because you see some of those clips where Jamie speaks up and Rogan just looks at him like
Yeah,
oh,
he's
Jamie,
like,
shut the
shut
fuck
the
up.
fuck up.
It's like
Jamie's
shut the fuck up, Jamie.
Yeah, I think I know who Jamie is.
He's like he's like his producer, basically.
He's also
Got it.
apparently he's not like you hear his voice. I pictured the same thing Strickland was picturing, like some young dude. Like
he's
looks
an
like
older guy,
yeah, he's an older guy. I guess it's just because he keeps getting abused. Like
and apparently he's jacked too.
oh no shit.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, but hold on.
Yeah.
Michigan has 12 national championships now.
Oh fuck in football.
Yeah,
Huh. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's got to be. But how many of those? Okay, but hold on. How many of those are like claimed, unclaimed, like AP titles? Because that's a big.
no.
That's I remember like I don't know how many of those are like actually legitimate, but that should also be something that's like put into consideration because
Well, they have 7 that are unclaimed.
that's a lot.
They have 12 claimed. I mean, Oklahoma has 7 national championships, and I think they have something like 14 or 15 unclaimed national
Well,
championships.
I don't know, dude. I'm looking at this thing and it's like national championships by AP title, AP national title.
Oh, no, that's not. I'm looking at just claimed national titles, and they have 1901, 02, 03, 04, 1918, 23, 32, 33,
I think from that
47, 48, 97, and then 2023.
I think from prior eras that it should also be based on like the AP at least, just because I know some programs that have claimed national titles who had maybe 1 or 2 losses in that season. And then they claim a national title because they won their New Year's Six. SMU did it in the 80s. Like, they
Yeah.
won 2 national titles, but the streets know that the legitimate champions those years were like Clemson and Penn State or whoever.
Yeah,
Fucking
and then
UCF,
you look at like Oklahoma
UCF,
State.
UCF claimed a natty a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like, we could have claimed,
You-
TCU could have claimed one in 2010. Like, what stops us?
Definitely could have.
That was they fumbled the bag there. I think we should have. We should have
Yeah,
claimed
I mean, TCU could have honestly claimed one in 14 too.
it. Yeah, we honestly. Oh my god, dude, what are we doing? We should be claiming at least one of these. What the fuck?
No,
Yeah,
it's
guys,
because we're
'cause we're
we're
good
not
people.
a poverty program.
Yeah, we're not
Poverty
you know,
programs do that.
we don't want participation trophies. But anyways,
That's like
I don't know.
the only national championships that Oklahoma claims are the ones where they were clearly the national title winner. Like, they played the best team in the bowl game, had an undefeated season, were ranked by like the major voting program during that time. Where there are a lot of natties that Oklahoma has unclaimed, where, truth be told, if we were a different program, we probably would claim them.
Mm-hmm. I think that's like if you were the Texas Longhorns, you would have claimed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want
Well,
to get into some
anyways.
top games you've been to?
Abso-fucking-lutely. So
Oh, what? Like some of the best games you've ever seen in life?
yes,
Yeah,
dude, I
live,
think we
live.
should. And if you want, I can establish a little bit of context for any audio listeners who are still rubbing and tubbing along with us. This is something
I got my 5. I got my 5 games actually. I figured out more. I'm sorry.
5.
I got my 5.
I did a little thinking. I have my 5, but I guess just for a little bit of context, we're gonna quickly go through, I guess, our top 5 of games we've ever been to. I mean, it's really up to the person making their list on like what their criteria is, like whether it's just the most entertaining games, the most, I don't know, most satisfying games that you've been to. It can be any sport, doesn't matter. It's kind of it's up to each one of us. So yeah, I don't know if any one of you want to go first. Pressure.
Yeah,
No one
first.
feels pressure.
I go first. I can name the 5.
What if, okay, let's hold on. Let's save our number 1 game for last, and we'll all say our
I'm
number
counting.
1 game. Yeah, like at the very end.
All right,
Sure.
So Chase,
I
start
gave
with
it
5.
to 2. 5. Okay, 5. So there's like a span where I went to the UCLA USC game like 7 years in a row, and it was during Jim Mora days, like the beginning of Jim Mora days. So UCLA was like beginning to start to beat SC. I think they won like 4 or 5 years in a row. So it was like one of my first years going, and it was at the Coliseum, and USC was pretty good. I think they had Matt Barkley at quarterback. They were decent, but UCLA went in there, and
Matt Barkley.
it was decent. It was the game that that really started the change that UCLA football was somewhat getting decent again that year. When do you guys remember the hit that Anthony Barr put on Barkley? You guys ever seen that video where he just lays him the fuck out? Yeah, so that was fun. I was at that game, and I was sitting in like a USC alumni section, and like I was the only UCLA fan, so I'm getting like popcorn and shit thrown at me. But it was cool. It was great. That was a fun ass game.
Damn.
We could call it what you want. Okay. So that was fun. I got my 4th best game. Is now that I'm older and I'm drinking a lot more, these games get a lot harder to remember. So I'm gonna go with what I remember of the UCLA Utah game last year. I think it was like a 40-45 game. It was a barn burner, and UCLA they played Utah was like ranked number 7 in the country last year. UCLA was not supposed to win that game, and then they drove down the field the last minute DTR. prime drive DTR. Did his thing. They won that game. I got sauced, passed out by like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was great. Let's see, that was a great game. Now we're getting into different sports. I was at the fucking like 7 hour World Series game 5 years ago. I don't know guys if you remember last like 5 years ago there was an 18 inning World Series game.
Mm-hmm.
That was really incredible to be at. I mean, they stopped serving alcohol by the 7th inning, and then they stopped serving everything, and then they had to fucking reopen the concession stands because idiots like me were getting pissed off. We weren't getting fucking fed beer. So then I was there from like fucking like 5 p.m. to like 2 in the morning or some shit like that. It was crazy because it was like a 7.5 hour game. That was fun to be at. Let's see. What's this? Oh, Cole, have you seen the video of Kobe banking in the 3 to beat Miami? Like,
Probably.
you know the video? It's like Mike Breen going, and he banks it in for the win. And it's Kobe over D Wade.
Dude, there are so many Mike Breen moments.
I was gonna say, dude.
Well, okay, there's one in if Kobe, just hitting a clutch 3, banking it in for the win over Miami. That was just an incredible moment to be at. I was like 10 years old and just, loving the Lakers, loving Kobe, and classic Mamba, just, between the legs, bull booer for 3, bang, off the bank, just getting a bucket. That was cool to be at.
Bull Booer, baby.
Dude, Bull Booer was a bucket.
Booer.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what anybody at
Ain't
Hart
black.
or West Ranch says. Bull Booer should have been given the chance. If he didn't have bad knees, he was going D1. So, that's my take. But
I don't know if he was tall enough to go D1.
Nah, I wasn't fast enough, dude.
He could have played at like Austin, PA or something. I don't know. Like some shitty D1. I don't know. Those 4 games
Yeah.
are pretty cool to be at, man. But, I mean, nothing tops the number 1 game that I will get into.
It's kind of a shitty list.
All right. Sorry. Yeah, you know what?
Kind of a shitty list, Chase. Not gonna lie. No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck you guys.
Cole, actually, do you want me to go next, Cole?
Go for it.
All right. At number 5 in my top 5 games that I have been to, my criteria was just like the dopamine that I got from each one. At number 5, I've got TCU versus Texas in Austin last year in 2022. Obviously, we know the year of the Hypno-Toad. It was incredible. This is like around I think November, the course of the at some point in the year when people were still expecting us to fall off. We roll into Austin as a plus 7.5 underdog. Take care of business. The defense dominates Quinn Sewers and the Longhorns. They didn't score a single offensive point the entire game. A single offensive point the entire game. I think he was picked off twice. Duggan, QJ, Miller time, them boys went off. I think that was one of the more satisfying ones just because it was, I think it's to this day still the highest or the sellout, the biggest sellout crowd in Austin ever. And so it was really satisfying to win that game. Moving on to number 4, I've got the Big 12 championship between Texas and Oklahoma in 2018 with my buddy.
Yeah,
Bull
baby.
Bua, with my buddy Bull Bua. That one was on the list. One, just because of how exciting that game was. It was, I mean, it was back and forth for a while. Oklahoma was kind of in control of it. Kyler knew what the fuck he was doing. Grant Calcaterra was going off left and right. Cole Boer and I, we were slinging beers. We were slinging beers, pounding beers all day. It was very, very satisfying, I think, to see a lot of sad Texas people in the crowd. So it was, it was one of those memorable games that I've been to. Even if I didn't go to Oklahoma, I got to go and go with my buddy Bull, and that was a great experience. Number 3, I've got the 2017 Alamo Bowl, TCU and the Kenny Hills. We made a big. I know we had made one comeback in the Alamo Bowl a couple years before that against Oregon. I went to this game in San Antonio because that's where I'm from. Baylor and I went to this game together, and we were down big. We were down big at one point during this game against Stanford. You know, when they had Bryce Love, it was a good team. But you know, as the Hypnotoads do, we always find a way. Made a big comeback. Kenny Hill cemented himself as a decent quarterback, not a legend, but a decent quarterback. So yeah, that was a very exciting game to go to. Going into my top two, number two, an unranked TCU team, a garbage TCU team at that had just fired Gary Patterson, beats a top 5 Baylor team and ruins their hopes. The Chandler Morris coming out party. That's what that game was. This was, I think, one of the most electric field storms I've been a part of. Amongst the plenty that I've gotten to be a part of, you know, been very blessed in that aspect. But yeah, I think we ruined Baylor's playoff hopes. Our biggest rivals stormed the field. Chandler Morris announced himself as the next big guy, but you know, obviously we know that hasn't panned out. But whatever, great game. And then number one, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I think everyone is gonna kind of have an idea of what I will say, but I'll hand it off to Cole now.
All right, so number 5 for me, and I don't even remember what year it was. I just remember the game. I remember it being like one of the. It is by far the most memorable basketball game I ever got to see. But it was so growing up, my favorite basketball player was always Derrick Rose, and I still think that if he wouldn't have had his injuries, he could have very well gone down as one of the best point guards to ever play the game of basketball. And it was Clippers versus the Bulls. And I mean, I was maybe 10 years old, but I remember every second of that game. I know that the Bulls won. Derrick Rose went off for like 30 somewhat points. And at the end of the game, I was lucky enough to go like to the back in the tunnels after the players had like changed and gone to the locker room. And I actually got to meet like Derrick Rose. I have pictures with Derrick Rose. Got to hang out with like Baron Davis when he was with the Clippers, those guys. And still to this day, like the most memorable basketball game because growing up, my hero was Derrick Rose. So like getting to meet him, like that's top 5 games I've ever been to. Just, you know, being able to meet Derrick Rose. Number 4 for me, I'm going to have to go with 2019 Oklahoma versus TCU. Jalen Hurts, I think he had like 2 or 3 total touchdowns. I think he had 2 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown. But the significance of this game was it was the first time I actually ever got to step foot on Owen Field in Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. And I swear to you, I walked out onto that field. I was touching that grass, that beautiful, I think it's rye. And just being able to step foot on it, dude, I felt like I touched God. I'm not even kidding. It was like one of the most surreal moments I've ever felt, like being able to step foot and like share the same field and the same grass as guys like Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb, freaking Grant Calcaterra, those guys. Like, dude, it was surreal. Number 3 for me is probably going to be the Big 12 championship game that Luis talked about. Was Texas versus Oklahoma. What was that? 2019,
2018.
I think that was the 2018. Yeah, 2018 Big 12 title. Seeing Calcaterra go off, all the same reasons that Luis said. That's an easy pick. Number 2, I actually have a tie with my number 1 game. It's too difficult for me to pick, and I keep going back and forth on it. So I'm just saying that they're a tie, that they're both number 1. And if you guys want, I'll kick off the number 1s.
Please.
Go for it, buddy.
So tie, basically 1 and 2, is going to be TCU versus Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl. The reason for that is because it was the day after my wedding. It just felt like, and Emma and I still say this to the day, to today, is we feel like we we made that happen. Like they wouldn't have won if it wasn't for us. Like it was almost like a tribute, dude.
Destiny.
Like all of us were there, all of our friends, everyone was at our wedding the day before, and then the next day we're all just like hungover, except for Chase. Yeah, Chase didn't want to stay. We were all
Oh, fuck
hungover,
you.
dude. I bought tickets that morning to
You
go.
didn't
I
buy
bought tickets
shit.
like
You
2
got
hours
gifted.
before the game.
You got gifted tickets.
You talk? No, I didn't.
I thought you got gifted tickets. Somebody bought your tickets, no?
No,
It's not
no,
what
I
heard.
bought them like 2 hours before the game,
Why are you
dude.
so
No, what I
pressed,
heard.
dude?
I'm not
Yeah,
pressed.
what?
Dude,
No.
I'm jealous. I wish I could have gone to that game. I wish I could have gone to that game.
No,
That game was a
no. I
flat,
bought tickets
yeah.
like 2 or 3 hours before the game.
It's just incredible to be that.
So yeah,
that-
being able to go to that, it was just special because like all of us were there.
except
We
you.
all got
Shit,
to
me.
experience
Yeah.
it, and then that night, like yeah, except for you, but whatever. And then we all got to go out for New Year's Eve, that same night, celebrate our wedding even more, celebrate TCU going to the national championship. It was just all in all like perfect. Like I couldn't have asked for a better setting. And then tied with that is actually a game that Oklahoma lost. And Luis mentioned it is just like pure dopamine, pure adrenaline levels. I have never been so invested and felt such a rush watching the 2018 Rose Bowl of Oklahoma versus Georgia. And I'm still to this day convinced that Lincoln Riley robbed us of a national championship that year. Because Oklahoma was the best team in the country that year.
I agree. Fuck that guy.
You were at that game?
And I was at that. Yeah, me and Parker were at that game.
Shout out,
And
Will.
dude, it just like throughout the whole game, I just had never felt so much adrenaline like pumping through my body. And even though they lost, it was arguably the greatest college football game I think I've ever witnessed in my life. Such a good game.
Is that the
And
48-45?
incredible comeback by Georgia. And incredible game by Baker Mayfield. I don't think I've ever seen him play a better football game. Like,
Well, you ain't gonna see it today because
Those two right there.
Lions country. But that's another.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
Baker Mania is over.
I can take the next number one, just because Cole kind of mentioned it already, and I wanna give my take on that weekend. So, yeah, obviously my number one, the 2022 Fiesta Bowl, the CFP semifinal between TCU and Michigan, Max Duggan versus JJ McCandoff. Yeah, this was a game where I think in the back of everyone's heads, or at least me, I was like, you know what, like this is a game like we probably won't win. Michigan's a really fucking good team, but I think we have a shot. Like there's a slight chance that we just go off. Like I've been watching us all year long, and we have been amazing. So that scenario ended up panning out, and I think kind of what Cole mentioned, what made that so fucking awesome was the fact that Cole's wedding was the day before. We were all together, like all the TCU alumni at least. Sorry, Chase.
It's all right. See, son.
Like everything that was the greatest game I have ever been to. Everything from like how good the game itself was, just the emotions behind everything. Just, I mean, the anticipation to everything. I mean, even going back to Cole's bachelor party, like when we were driving back to Texas, like me, Hunter, some of the other boys, watching the playoff selection show being unveiled on my phone. From that up until the point of like witnessing actually winning the Fiesta Bowl, I think that might be one of the greatest days of my life. I think it's probably the greatest day in my life, at least as a TCU fan. Hopefully I get to witness that again sometime soon, or something even better in the form of a natty. But yeah, that day was so special. I mean, everyone went off. I mean, Duggan was fucking fighting like a champion, like he always does. QJ was going off. Dean Winters was picking off JJ McCandoff. I think we picked him off twice, got 2 pick sixes. And I think it was also so rewarding walking out of that stadium, seeing all these Michigan faces, just
Yes, dude.
just mauled because they didn't respect us. Like not a single one of them gave us any respect. And
To be fair, what made that such a cool outcome was that it wasn't just Michigan fans that didn't respect us. It was the
everybody.
whole country.
It was the
The whole
Hypnotoads
country
against
was
the
like
world.
the whole country had absolutely no faith in TCU that year.
Yeah.
And the fact that we went in there because the score did not reflect how dominant TCU played in that football game.
Oh, we fucked them in the trenches.
That
Dominated
football
them.
game, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, what made it great was that the whole country had no faith in TCU. Nobody but TCU had faith in TCU.
Yeah. I don't even care how like the Natty ended up, just because that you have to win that semifinal game to get there. Like you don't luck yourself into that game. And so yeah, I cried that night. I think going back to what Cole was saying, that was a special that was a special day. Like at the final whistle, like I teared up. I was crying just because I never thought I was going to get the opportunity to see something like that, and much less in person. Like the way everything lined up, everything was perfect that month, that weekend, everything. And then, what Cole was saying, we ended up going to spend New Year's at the same bar that the rest of the team was at. So it was cool just seeing them kicking it, after winning such a big game. And just, it was one of those New Year's that's probably going to be very, very memorable for me at least. So that's my number one. Chase.
I think you guys obviously know. I mean, maybe this is because this is the last game I went to, which was this year. Freshest in my mind from what I remember. I think the whole day was just fucking awesome, dude. It's New Year's Day. It's the fucking Rose Bowl. It's the granddaddy of them all. It's like this Rose Bowl is a playoff game this year, which was just fucking electric, the atmosphere. I did a lot of pre-gaming before. I went to a tailgate. I was sauce going into the game. I had fucking 40-yard line tickets, just like 40 yards up. Just couldn't beat my spot. And just the vibe and the atmosphere of a playoff game, like you guys were kind of saying, like, it's crazy. It's just like seeing Alabama fans, seeing how far they traveled, seeing Michigan fans, seeing how far they traveled to fucking West Coast, and like hearing Dixieland Delight live, like, how Bama kind of sings that.
Yeah, dude, that had to be so fun.
That was so fucking cool. And it was like 70% Michigan fans, but fucking Bama was loud, man. They were louder than Michigan fans. That game.
Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
That game started off slow, but that fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes with Michigan, driving down the field twice to score to even have a chance to go to overtime was incredible. And then them in overtime scoring first to cover my spread, -6.5 originally. My live bet, -6.5. My over, my live bets. I cashed like all 5 bets off that play. It was incredible. Just like it's the most I've won on a single game, which was sick. And then also just being there, watching a fucking Rose Bowl playoff game live in overtime, seeing that, and then seeing them storm the field after, seeing it was, dude, sick. I was drunk as shit. I remember the fourth quarter, which was sick. But I don't care about nothing but the Tide. The Tide fucking sucked. So Saban can't save you next year.
Something about New Year's 6 games, dude.
Oh, it was electric. I had never been to a game with that much intensity and that much implication. I don't know. I felt like it was like a fucking like Game 7. It was just sick.
Yeah.
And going with my dad and both of us had a great time. So
yeah, there's just
nice
something about New Year's 6s. There's just something about New Year's 6s, dude. And like, I know I've only been to one, and the Fiesta Bowl one was my first like New Year's 6 I've gotten to go to. Cole, I know you've been to like multiple now.
I've been to 2 playoff games now.
Yeah, there's just something about that atmosphere, dude. And especially when it's a playoff game, too. Like now the way everything is set up. And I'm sure like these, even in the 12-team format, they're going to feel the home games even are going to feel insane, too. But there's just something about a New Year's 6, dude. Like I don't know. It just felt way bigger than anything, anything else that like your team has gone to, you know? Like I got the vibe that it was so much bigger than like a Big 12 game in Arlington, you know? Like that's cool. That was cool too. Like going to a couple like conference championship games there, but the New Year's Sixes though, like that's just
Yeah.
history, you know?
And the
Yeah.
cool thing is it was nice to see a playoff game at the Rose Bowl because obviously we know UCLA won't ever make it there, and seeing a game with that much pressure is pretty cool because it's not like my Bruins are going to go there anytime soon. So I don't know. It's just
Well, keep in mind,
it's
there's
incredible.
now only one way. There's now only one way to get to the Rose Bowl, and you got to make the playoff now.
Yeah, it's
There's
gonna
no
be a
more.
playoff
There's
game
no more
every
tie.
year.
There's no more
Every
tie-ins.
dude, and my dad has a plug, so we got like these great tickets for like $400 when usually they're like those tickets were selling for like grand, like $1,200.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that I can go next year and to go again and just it's fucking awesome, and I definitely will go again because that I don't know, just a playoff game was just sick. I don't know, I don't even give a shit who won. I was just like I'm happy to be here, and it's just I don't know, the vibe was electric. So pretty good shit.
I would like to add an honorable mention to my list of greatest games I've ever been to. And I don't know if this counts because it was a game that I played in,
I was gonna say something like that. God damn it! Go ahead.
but my honorable mention is the day that I was able to play 2-on-2 with none other than Michael Jordan.
What?
That's You don't remember that?
I remember he
I've heard
signed a
this story.
basketball for you. I didn't know you played 2-on-2 with him.
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same day I got this ball from
Did
him.
you cook him? Why is there bubbles on your face? What the
Yo,
fuck?
what are those
Why is
bubbles?
there?
What the
What the heck? That was weird. But yeah, it was the same day I got this ball right here from.
They're there
Why do they
again.
keep on?
Yo!
Why do they keep on popping? Why
You got
is it every time I say? Wait a minute. Is it every time I say ball? Ball.
I don't know.
Bowl. Say bowl.
It's bubbles on your
Bubbles.
face.
Bowl. Bubble. 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 Bubbles.
Damn, that's-
bubbles.
You gotta
That's
clip that.
weird.
That's fucking funny, bro.
Yeah, it was the day I got that ball though from MJ, and I got to play 2-on-2 with him the day before or the same
Bro.
day, like with two other campers because I went to the Michael Jordan camp, and it was like flight school, and I got to play 2-on-2 with him, and it was oh my god,
Dude, I thought you were gonna say
it was the
best-
coolest thing ever.
I thought you were gonna say the best game you played was when me and you played 1-on-1, and if you won, you could date my sister or something. Like
Just the
auction.
number one.
Dude, I like auctioned my sister off in a basketball game saying, if you beat me, you could date my sister. And I fucking lost like 11-0. So it's like, I don't know, dude. That shit was fucking funny, bro.
Hold on. Let's give some context. We were like
Like
8
6.
years old. Okay. Yeah, we were like 8. Maybe even younger than that. We might have been like 6. But I do remember I cooked your ass.
You beat me, you could date my sister. I didn't ask her. I didn't get her take, but I was like, you beat me in 1-on-1, you could date my sister. Cole's like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm a bucket. Like, fuck. just
You had the
I think
aim
you won
on
like
that
11-0, bro. Oh my
The one day,
That's
the one
so
day he
good.
just doesn't miss.
Oh, that shit was so funny.
Dude, I never
Oh.
missed. That was every day.
Dude, he was a Cole.
If I
Cole
had a little
thumper.
if I had a little more speed and I could jump a little bit better, I bet like I could have played more, definitely.
Should have
But
played high, like
oh well.
JV and varsity. Yeah, you could have kept playing.
I mean, I was
So-
on I played through my senior year. So I stopped playing my senior year, but I was on varsity my junior year.
At West Ranch?
Mhm.
I didn't know that. Were you practicing?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Damn, dude.
Mhm.
I would have wear your jersey to games and stuff.
No, it wasn't for I quit like halfway through the year.
Okay, that's okay. That I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that's why.
Well,
I was
Oh,
just
what a
like, yeah,
fucking-
I was just like, I'm kind of bored. Like, I'm done with this. I'm done sitting on the bench.
fucking fuck Shant. What memories, man?
Hey, what was Coach Shant's last name? Come on, say it.
It's
Say
NSF. It's NSFW.
Come on, Luis. Do you want to know what Coach Chant's last name was?
I don't know where he went.
What's
Oh
his
my
last
goodness.
Bukaki.
Damn.
Why is Luis standing up like that? Yo, what the fuck?
I was moving locations, and then someone fucking called my name, so I was like, "Oh shit, let me put this thing down."
Oh, man.
Boy can't fucking move.
Old
Too funny,
Shampakaki.
bro. Oh, boys.
God.
All right. We
We
wrapping
want to
up
do
on
some
the...
quick. We want to do some quick tubs of the week.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah,
do it.
Yeah. I'll just go first since I'm already talking. Tub of the week. Last night went to Cody Johnson. He's fucking awesome. I know you guys... Cole, you're into country music. Luis, I'm not too sure, but Cody Johnson is an
Love it.
incredible
Yeah,
performer.
he is.
Oh, he's so great. Like, he's like true country, which is nice. It's not like this pop country shit. Dude's just incredible. It was nice to go out and see him. So I had a great time. It was. I've seen him twice, and the dude. The reason I really respect him is every concert he makes sure to thank, those who serve the country, and I think it's a very honorable thing to do. And I got a lot of respect for him. Luis, I don't know why you're laughing, but thank you, Cody. Thank you for being a good dude.
I was thinking of the Kid Rock concert I went to with Hunter, where if anyone knows how to thank service people and I guess just people in general, it's Kid Rock, dude.
Yeah.
God bless America.
Yeah, it was a fun time though. I had a great weekend. So, go ahead, Luis.
Yeah. I actually don't know if I even have a tub this week. That's my tub. That's my tub of the week right there. I'm proud to be an American. Yeah, I wish last night's fights, or the only fight I cared about would have gone a little bit differently, just because I'm a big fan of Strickland. I think he represents just the average dude. Actually, I mean, I don't know if I can really say that. I want to say something real quick, because I know, like, I always say, like, Strickland represents the average dude, and then Emilio and Colin made a good counterpoint. They're like, dude, he's a fucking psychopath. What do you mean?
Yeah, he kind of is.
And I was like, well, that's not necessarily what I mean, but like, he just represents like I don't know, the average working blue collar guy in some way, minus the fucking psychopath. But yeah, outside of that,
he's definitely a psychopath, but he loves the average American, and he speaks up for the average American.
Yes.
I don't know if he represents the average American though.
I didn't pick my best words there, but I guess my tub of the week is just hanging with some of the boys last night and just slugging beers and watching fights. So yeah, I'll hand it off to you, Cole.
Well, damn, last night would have been my tub of the week, getting to see Sean Strickland just freaking KO Dricus Duplessis. Damn, man.
Dupussy.
Dricus Dupussy. Shoot, dude. I don't know. Went to family dinner last night, and we had a good family dinner last night. It was fun. I don't really know if there's like
we ate food. That's my tub.
Yeah. Well, dude, like, I can't eat a lot of food right now because I'm on this diet, and like I can't eat sugar.
Yeah, that's
so
couldn't be me, brother.
And I can't eat bread. I can't eat anything gluten. So like my diet's been really restrictive. So it's not like I've gone out to like have like this crazy nice meal. I mean, we went and had sushi last week, but I don't know.
We love a family guy.
Yeah, it was family dinner. I'm a family man. I want to have kids,
Little boomers
sooner than later.
2025.
Yeah,
Here they come. Get ready,
I wish. I wish, man. I wish, but it's not happening. Not happening.
Oh, well, pleasure having another episode with you boys. Good stuff. Oh, hi.
Get that ugly dog out of here.
Hey, don't be a dick.
Look at those ears, bro. Look at the ears on that thing.
Luis does love dogs. Dogs love Luis.
He's got some fucking ears on him, bro. He's like Dumbo.
Yeah.
Well, boys, have a blessed Sunday and have a blessed week. I'm looking forward to the next one. Baker Mania dies today.
Boys, Yeah, Baker Mania is living on. They're either making the Super Bowl or they're winning. They're going to make the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield is bringing it home. Watch. Watch it happen.
Dude, I'm rooting for you guys. I really am, but the Lions are fucking nasty, so we shall see. Good day of football coming up. Let's get after it.
Well, boys, let's salute to America real quick.
Nightmare,
We'll
nightmare,
close
nightmare,
this out.
nightmare, nightmare.